top 3 top secret moves everyone with a spine should know. So if you wake up and you have some back pain in your bed and you're wondering how to do a few moves, or you're going to the gym and you know you're tight back there and you want to kind of prep yourself, these 3 moves will open up your back, loosen it up, your back might crack a little bit, and hopefully actually set it back in line. You can feel where it's tight. So number 1, pelvic tilt, probably my all-time favorite move to help prevent back pain and address strengthening your core, which is why originally you might have actually hurt your back. You're going to take a little sit-up position here. So I naturally have a curve in my back right here. I could fit my hand under it, or if you're checking somebody, you fit your hand under it. And all you want to imagine you're doing is, if there's someone's hand there, is with my hips, I'm just going to flatten my back and squish where my hand is. So if these are my hips, I'm flattening, taking that space away, releasing. I'm flattening, taking that space away, releasing. So it's called a pelvic tilt because I'm tilting my pelvis, and that curvature in my back is flattening as I flatten my hips. And what I'm doing is the vertebrae are about here, and by flattening I'm lengthening, so I'm creating some traction there, which is one of the number 1 things that will help, because a lot of issues we deal with are spinal compression, and the vertebrae are like this and they compress and they put pressure on your disc, and the disc material, the material inside the disc actually presses on your nerves and hurts, creating some injury. So traction we want. So number 1, you can wake up and these are good warm-ups. You're flattening your back, releasing. You're flattening back, releasing. So you're stretching out, you're strengthening the muscles that keep those vertebrae apart also, but it's a good warm-up. So you wake up, rep out a couple of these, just flattening out that back. Probably the number 1, just my hips are going down, probably the number 1 move if you learn anything. My hips are here, flatten, 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 and now essentially I'm taller, I've created more space in my vertebrae. So move 2, when you wake up experiencing some pain, could be simply, I'm going to go through a couple levels of these. You can simply roll your knees back and forth. I'm warming up my low back, I can feel a stretch here. That's level 1. Simply rolling back and forth. My back just cracked right there. If you heard it, I don't know. But that might not be enough, so if I'm actually warming up to do a heavy workout, I'll roll, but if you look at my feet, I'm going to press my feet, and I'm actually going to hip thrust a little bit, release the hip thrust. So maybe from this angle, I'm actually going to press my feet, if you can see them, hip thrust, my back stretches a little more, come back to center, roll the hip, press out, hip. My hip is actually moving that way as I press with my toes. I'm pressing, the hip comes out. Ooh, another crack. Heard it? There you go. So big press through. You can, feel free to walk your feet down a little bit as your back, move your shoulders away. You're going to create some space. Press. And then you can just turn it to warm up after you kind of open those hips up. Press. You can also, of course, windshield wiper. You can kick your leg out for better stretch. Do that a lot. Just did that. My fiance, helping her loosen her back up too. And now for the third one, there's going to be a couple levels to it. So a good cat-cow. General cat-cow in yoga. Most of us have probably even seen it. Your hands right below your shoulders. That's linear. That's pretty much 90 degrees to the floor. My knees right below my hips. So I'm not scrunching up my back here. I'm actually giving it some space. So my knees right below my hips, straight down. Hands right below my shoulders. And then I'm going to bring my head up as I bring my stomach towards the floor and arch my back with my toes activated. Then I'm going to flatten my toes, push the floor, and come back the other way. I believe this is the cat, the other one is the cow. So pushing the floor, rolling my shoulders back like almost in this way. So you're bringing them back down, proud chest. You're actually depressing them, creating space between your ear and your shoulder. So again, right here, proud chest before I start moving. My toes are engaged. I'm bringing my stomach to the floor as I bring my head up. Breathe, inhale, exhale, toes are down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And I can even feel parts of my shoulder opening up, which are tight. From here, head up, press. Shoulders in. Now level 2. What I'm doing here is reaching my butt away from the TRX or whatever you have to be holding onto and breathing into my lower back, creating that space. No, it's not magic. What it really is doing is just physics, and you're releasing some of those muscles that are tight and you're breathing into the depth, so you're actively stretching away, and that breath is going to help you relax and release some of those muscles. So we're going to do basically 3 different techniques. 1 is just hanging like we were just doing. 2 is what I'm doing here is kind of like a cat-cow pose where I'll stretch, I'll bring my hips forward, bring my hips back, and then I'll take a little baby steps away with my feet. So every time I do that, I'm getting more stretch, but when I'm bending at those angles, I'm also bending different parts of my vertebrae to again create space. You can also, of course, take one arm here and stretch out one side more intensely, again reaching your butt away from where the stretch is going. I'm also going to do that same up and down motion or cat-cow pose where I'll bend up, bend down, bend up, bend down. You can sometimes hear your back cracking a little bit. Take baby steps away with your feet and then do it again. So there's a couple different techniques that are there. It all really revolves around establishing that psychology of keeping the space between your vertebrae and keeping the muscles strong that maintain that space. Also, for a bonus, one more exercise that I really like for my hips. Again, sometimes your hips get out of whack, your groin muscles get pulled, or you're really tight in your iliotibial band. Whatever the case is, some of our hips become turned in different ways, or what they call hip hiking, where one hip is higher than the other, and it affects your back, your spine. It can be caused by a number of different things. If your one leg is longer than the other, that'll be the case. Or if you have an injury or something tight that's pulling your hip girdle over, can have that. So let's pretend this hip hikes, which I know mine does a little bit. This is my tighter side. I'm a righty, a number of different reasons. Also, my injuries were largely my left leg, so I think over years I've compensated on my right leg. My right hip is kind of taking a lot of that. And you're not always aware of it, of course, but becoming aware is only going to help you. So from that same cat-cow position, what I like to do is actually just, with my right leg, I'm going to take my right leg up, and almost like I'm trying to kick the corner of my office, reaching my foot out to the other side. My left leg will come back. I'm actually trying to kick almost pretty much sideways. It's basically a sideways, it's not a kick, but it's a stretch, so that my hip rotates out. Out, which is down here. So my hips are here. With the kick, I'm rotating it. I'm exaggerating with my hands. I'm rotating out. Again, I'm creating length because I'm opening up part of my vertebrae, right? I can kick a little bit. I move my hands out, shake it out. Keep kicking. Go from the side. And as I keep kicking, it gets warmer. It's an active stretch, which are usually more effective. Active stretches are usually more effective than static stretches, because there's something called reciprocal inhibition, where essentially, if this is A, this is B, you activate A, you turn off B. It's not as simple when it comes to the muscles in the back, but I'm just applying the same principle in that if I activate the muscles on this side, that'll pull my right hip during this kick, because what's stabilizing? This is stabilizing, and it's holding it in place as I open up. So as I open up, one side is activated, and the outer part of my leg back here is opening up, hence being stretched, because I'm turning off the muscles that are activated too much or locked up because they're protecting my back and my hip. So I'm turning this side on. Again, I'm just applying the general principle. I'm turning this side on, turning this side on, turning this side off, because I'm tight here. This is all tight. I'm opening it up. And am I just stretching here? No, I'm not just stretching here. I'm kicking out and stretching. Oh, I just felt it pop a little bit. So I'm kicking, opening it up. See? It's just a stretch through here, but it's not just a stretch. I'm activating other sides of the muscles. So those are my top 3 top secret moves that everyone in spine should know. Actually, it's 4. That's just a bonus for y'all. This has been my Wellness Dojo. I'm Jude Jackman. Thank you. Don't forget to make my wellness dojo your wellness dojo and subscribe at the bottom.